What I've got for you today is supposed to be an amazing match of StarCraft 2. We have the #1 Protoss in the world facing off against the #1 Terran. And that statement alone already puts a smile on my face, because spotting right here in the top right-hand corner, playing with the red Protoss probes, we have none other than MaxPax. And his opponent in the opposite corner, joined by the little polar bear on the main command center. Of course, that means we have none other than Clem. MaxPax indeed recently overtaking Hero once again on Aligalek for the #1 Protoss position. And Clem, he did the same thing for the very first time in a very long time with Maru. So yes, at least according to the best statistics website that we have in StarCraft 2, Clem is currently the #1 Terran in the world, and MaxPax currently the #1 Protoss. Now, these two, they've been playing against each other a ton over the last half year, to the point where I wanted to give you the exact number of tournament maps that they've played against each other, because they've been playing against one another literally multiple times a week in a match. It turns out, since May, so since the 1st of May, in the last half year or so, they have played 156 tournament games against each other, which is absolutely ridiculous. It really has become one of the classic rivalries in StarCraft 2, sort of like Clem versus Raynor from a couple of years ago, or like Hero versus Dark, or if you want to go all the way back to the early days, in my mind, a classic rivalry, Huck versus Idra. Does anybody remember that? Or maybe the DreamHack winner versus the champagne bottle. Another classic rivalry in StarCraft 2. If you don't know what I'm talking about, just imagine awkward 20-something-year-olds that have spent way too much time inside. That includes myself. Although, I guess these days I'm in my 30s. But anyways, that doesn't really matter. Just imagine them trying to do a champagne ceremony after winning a tournament. Basically, I think the tournament organizers, they thought that maybe they could get like a Formula 1 type of, celebration. Turns out many of the pro gamers would forget basic steps in the champagne build order, like for example, shaking the bottle. The one that pops into my head immediately, probably the most awkward one that I've ever seen, was Teja winning, I don't know exactly which DreamHack it was, but he forgot shaking the bottle altogether. He just started pouring it out. It looked so weird. Anyways, classics of StarCraft 2 history, and I wouldn't be surprised if MaxPax versus Clem is also gonna go down into the books, the history books, as one of the very best matchups that we've ever had in StarCraft. Now, they have been pushing, all jokes aside, they have been pushing each other to new heights as well. About half a year ago, Protoss players would be able to win against top-level Terrans playing the 4-gate blink style. Especially MaxPax, who micros his stalkers better than anybody else out there, he would frequently win against guys like, for example, Clem. The problem is, since he did that build so frequently, all of the Terran opponents have also gotten a lot better at defending against those styles. The same can be said for Terrans. There are some cheeky builds that they can go for, but MaxPax doesn't really lose to any of them anymore. Now, I've heard that this match is amazing, but if I were to make a guess here, I don't think we're really gonna see anything all too crazy right at the very start. Mostly because, well, it's Hecate, which is or Hecate, or Hecate, whatever you want to say about the map, I don't know. I've discussed the map pronunciations many times already. This is a map that does allow very easy expansions, so you can take 4 bases relatively straightforwardly. And because of that, I don't really expect a lot of early game aggression, but on top of that, these two, they know each other inside and out at this point, and they know how good the opponent is, that I highly doubt that we are going to be seeing anything crazy. Now in the end, yeah, that's a Marine and a Hellion going up against an Adept. Nothing all too weird. More or less, a lot of these builds that we see these guys going for, they're almost like skill checks. So yeah, Clem will win a lot of games against lower ranked Protosses just going for a Widowmine drop. MaxPax, he can probably do a lot of damage to lower ranked Terrans by going for like a triple gate start. So how many gateways are we going for? Yeah, it's 3 gateways so far together with a robo facility. I think we're gonna make a Nexus on the back of this too. This is not that 4-gate style that MaxPax was really fond of. Instead, it's something a little bit more conservative. Beautiful warp in there as well. Basically, when you play against each other so frequently, little things like nailing the absolute positioning right there of that gateway, they really become incredibly refined. Nothing here is random anymore. Neither of these two guys is doing, something that is out of the ordinary, right? But that's because they have essentially created the ordinary, because they are the highest ranked competitors in this particular matchup. We talk about the standard all the time. With we, I mean StarCraft 2 commentators. I do discuss the quote-unquote standard all the time, but it really is the highest ranked players in the world that created that standard. And sometimes the standard can be considered like a boring style, I guess. Because I know a lot of people enjoy watching, well, the crazy build orders. I mean, I recently posted that video featuring Bly. Highly recommend you go check it out if you want to see some crazy builds. But at this level of play, these two, they will just, well, rarely lose a game when the opponent decides to go for something funky. This isn't a whole lot of base defense, though. There's a siege tank in the main base. Yeah, we will have another siege tank available somewhere over here very soon. Instead, what we're going to try and do here is blink around it. But I think there's going to be more than enough, yeah. More than enough Terran units over here to really shut this down. One of the things that Terrans have really refined is the positioning of all of their structures and their siege tanks. It sounds like a very obvious thing to do, but you want to make sure that your siege tank is in range of any stalkers that blink to the high ground, but also not, you know, so much in range that the stalkers can easily pick it off. And it's a very delicate dance. You want to make sure you're protecting your structures, also your tech labs, right? You want to make sure that your upgrades are not going to be picked off. But at the same time, you also want to make sure that your SCVs right here can come in for the surround to potentially repair the siege tank back up to full. These two Marines and that one Marauder over there, they're not random, okay? This is planned. So, ultimately, the skill checks have been all around. But neither player has really given up a whole lot. Widowmine drop. Apparently it did go in, by the way. I ended up missing it, but I don't suspect, yeah, anything more than one probe has gone down. We do have two Stalkers over here on the perimeter, too. This guy is walled in, but luckily he does have that blink upgrade. Now, Stimpack, Combat Shields, plus one infantry weapons are all gonna finish up over the course of the next half minute or so, and that may very well prompt Clem to do a bit of a move out. I think Clem actually is paying attention to that little shimmer as well. That's the Observer. Seeing where the Observer is located may very well give you an idea. Can we scan? I don't think we have the energy. Nah, he doesn't really want to do it at this point. Okay. It may very well give you an idea as to where the Protoss wants to be fighting here next. The follow-up, by the way, from MaxPax is going to be the Templar Archives, together with Charge, together with the +1 ground weapons himself as well. There's the Widowmine drop once again attempted, but... yeah, these two, they're tiptoeing around each other. I wonder if they get frustrated at all playing against the opponent. I think every once in a while it's gonna be annoying where you're like, oh god, it's him again, right? It's that guy once more. Ugh. Don't really want to play against him right now because I gotta try way too hard. But I hope they realize that because of them, PvT has significantly moved on over the last half year. Okay. Now it's a slippery slope. Yeah, if Terran decides to go for a move out right now, they may very well be able to hit before the Storm upgrade is done. The problem right here though for Clem is that there are already so many units available here for Protoss. Widowmine drop is going to attempt to go in, not really achieving a whole lot. So matter of fact, MaxPax right now has decided to go for a 4th base. Supply-wise at this point, I'm still really liking this position for Clem. So it's 89 army supply versus only 66. But I wonder if maybe he should just settle for killing that Nexus up there. Yeah, just settle on that base and get it over with. I think the Widowmine drop, by the way, got the Knight once again. One probe has gone down inside of the main base, I would imagine, but that's really about it. Alright, now there's a literal minefield over here. Be very careful. That is a anti-zealot wall. Yeah, more zealots are going across the map right now instead. They really don't want to take any chances if they don't need to. Don't do it, little zealot. Okay. Yeah, MaxPax is saying, yo, if you're not gonna go up to the high ground, I'll be more than happy just sitting here. I will try to harass your units from the other side of the map here instead. Now, we do have, yeah, a couple zealots here ready to flank. Is he gonna commit? We have storms inside of that prism. The High Templar, that is. Okay, aggressive blink forward over here. Beautiful. Beautiful cleanup. He didn't even need to use the Templar. At this point, Clem might be thinking, yo, are there even any Templar available? I mean, he's seen the Archon, he's seen the Prism. There's, by the way, one Zealot over here pretending to be a High Templar. I guess he's just a Templar. He doesn't smoke as much as the other guys in the plane. That's fair enough. Ghost Academy coming up right now for Mr. Clem. Push over here on the right side of the map. Clem has decided to split up his troops. Marines there, misrallied for just a moment. They're gonna, yeah, pay at least some of that price. Okay, not bad. Maybe this drop over here can get something done, but a big storm! 2 big storms. Uncharacteristic mistake right there from Clem. Not using the Stimpack button, and that's causing him a lot of chaos. That's also because he's once again microing on the right side of the map, trying to stutter step 2 locations at the same time. Almost impossible. That's one of the main advantages of these Protoss units. Like, many of them can be microed, but the Zealot, you just sort of attack move it, and it will just simply use that ability on cooldown, charging whenever it can. Is this an overextension, though, by MaxPax? Maybe not, but he's got to be very careful. Yeah, he decides to warp in over here. We do have 8 gateways. No, 10 gateways even in total. 4th Nexus, by the way, a rebuild over here. 4th Command Center coming up as well right now for Mr. Clem. So even though the aggression is becoming, yeah, quite a bit more committed than that tiptoeing that we saw earlier, neither player really wants to go for an all-in here. The reason, of course, why you want to be putting those High Templar inside of the Prism is that you can prevent any EMPs from those ghosts. So the ghosts here, not capable of shutting down the energy out of that High Templar until the High Templar drop to the ground. The only problem is that the War Prism now, well, if it ends up falling, all of the High Templar inside of it will also end up going down. Observer positioning, by the way, has been really neat. I think it just got destroyed here, but there's no denying that it's been putting in quite a bit of work. Another medevac drop over here. Over at the top section of the map. Nothing of it, though. Really getting a whole lot done. Only 4 workers on the side of Protoss. 3 SCVs have gone down in this game. Apparently, I've been missing my medevac drops a little bit in this cast so far. I've decided I have some people coming over for a quote. My roof is broken, okay, of my shed. I need to get the roof fixed. So I have some people coming over. I decided to record this video real early, which may not help out all too much when it comes to, yeah, casting games of StarCraft 2. Also, shout out to my neighbors for having to put up with somebody who's shouting at himself all day in a room. I don't think they can hear me. At the very least, they say they can't, but I don't know, man. Do you believe him? Okay, Zealots. Trying their very best. Good splits, though, once again. Zealots coming in as well on the other side of the map. Widowmine drop this time around, unscouted. And I spotted it, but 4 probes. A little bit unlucky right there, actually, for Clem. He could have microed those Widowmines a little bit more, rather than just queuing up the burrow. Probably could have gotten more than 4 probes if he decided to target a juicy clump of units here. But anyways, Observer coming on over in this direction, so these mines are only going to be able to shoot a single time. Clem trying to chase down some of his army, goes across the bridge. Widowmine there getting quite a bit of damage done. Vikings trying to go after the Colossus. Good storm over there though, good blink as well with those Stalkers, forcing these units to back off. Okay. The big boys are building. +2/+2, a little late here, all things considered. Yeah. +3 already coming up here for MaxPax, so he's gonna be able to go into some very feisty Zealots and Stalkers here momentarily. The ghost count, though, is looking really healthy. Yeah, 11 ghosts. So as many ghosts as Marines right now. I always wonder if that's too many ghosts, but I guess in the Terran's mind, there is no such thing as too many ghosts. You can never have too many. Ooh, that EMP going completely to the wrong direction, but maybe he was assuming there would be some Templar showing up out of that tall grass. Scan over there, though, did reveal that there was nothing hiding behind it. Expansions all over the map. MaxPax all the way up to 81 workers right now. Clem has got a lot less, but that means that his army is bigger. Once again, trying to split up his units. The problem is that those ghosts cannot be stimped, right? So, even though he can catch this entire base, he can't really kill it. Yeah, EMP on a shield battery is nice, I suppose, but this is not really an army that's capable of killing a Nexus. I'm not suggesting, by the way, that Ghost should have access to Stimpaks. No. I know a couple Terran players here heard that. That's not what I'm saying, guys. Ooh, this may end up being a bit of a sandwich. There we go. Prism ends up getting sniped. One of the High Templar was indeed picked off, but this is looking really good for Clem. Going after one of the Colossus. Colossus number 1 falls. Colossus number 2 is going to end up going down as well. Clem creating a bit of a sandwich here on that Protoss army, catching it in its entirety off guard. Beautiful fight right there for the French Terran. He needs to be careful though, because the Protoss reinforcements are not far away. Loads of Zealots and Stalkers are just coming up right now. Most of the Vikings at this point have already gone down too, so that Colossus that's reinforcing this. Yeah, MaxPax is looking at the Viking count. He's like, wait a second, I'll be adding on some more Colossi if you don't mind. Alright, and MaxPax does push it back, but that was very pricey. Losing those Colossi as well as the Prism and the Templar, the Immortals and the Archons, those are not really units that you can easily reproduce. How many Ghosts did go down? Okay, yeah, 13 throughout this game. Very small unit to keep track of. Like, physically, the unit is not that large, but they are expensive. Maybe not quite a Colossus level of expensive, but they aren't a cheap unit by any stretch. There's that dip in over here for MaxPax, though, in the army size. Ooh, 2 Colossi. Okay, just barely enough. At the same time, we did have a push forward over here, too. MaxPax thinking about going for the golden and blue base right over here at the bottom of the map. There's a similar one as well up north, but they're gonna become neighbors at this rate. Still 80 workers for the Protoss player from Denmark. Clem still sitting at 69 SCVs. Seems to be a number a lot of Terran players like to settle on. Nice! Sorry, I felt like that was appropriate. And he's now making that transition towards Liberators. Yeah, so we have 4 Liberators at the moment. Do we have a... No, we do not. Okay. So we don't yet have the opportunity here to go into the Advanced Ballistics upgrade. I think Clem is a little concerned. That's an expensive transition to make. So he's gonna go, yeah, 4 Liberators, but not with the ranged upgrade just yet. This fight over here looking pretty good. Zealots forced to back off after they get EMP'd. And this Nexus, it's an important one here for MaxPax, because yeah, he does have a lot of income. He decides to bring his other units in as well. Oh my god, Clem flanking that army too. He flanked the flank. There's some flankception going on in this game here, as both players, my god, are absolutely pushing each other to the limit. Outflanking that flank was actually such a sexy move. Alright. SCVs though, together with mules, yeah, they're gonna be mining out this base here at the bottom of the map. And this is a really annoying one for MaxPax. He wants to go down to that direction, but there's a planetary fortress, there's a Liberator, and at the same time it leaves him very exposed over here. Don't misrally your Colossi, please. Okay, he catches it, decides to bring it back. Those Zealots putting in a ton of work. Okay. +3/+3 is gonna finish up here very soon for MaxPax. He's at the +3 ground weapons for some time already. Clem apparently too broke to go for the +3 infantry armor here, as instead he wants to add on more and more Liberators. Quite a few of the Liberators, though, are getting sniped here. Zealots are starting to break through a lot of this, too, and you can see that those upgrades do really make a tremendous difference. Oh, still though, such a risky move. Couple Stalkers over here end up going down. The Colossi so dangerously exposed, but they managed to continue shooting their lasers left, right, and center. Whew. We had a Liberator and a Widowmine, I think. Yeah, so there's a Widowmine on the high ground shooting at these probes down to the low ground. Super annoying position, but MaxPax right now, he does not want to give up this spot over here. He's getting to the soft underbelly of the Terran, right? And that's where all of their units are popping out of those production structures. He's trying to pick them off as they pop out. More and more reinforcements coming on over here. These Colossi take forever killing a barracks, but once again, there we go. Aggressive blink forward. Can the Colossi be retargeted onto that juicy bio bowl? Vikings are popping out of the starports, but the Stalkers are target firing them down as well. What an engagement over here. Basically, only the Colossi remain. Many of them only at like 1 HP. My god. MaxPax pushes forward. He wants to hold this position so bad. Reinforcements are coming up. There will be a Prism available very soon as well. There it is. Immortal coming across. I think that's going to be very handy too against those Marauders. Okay, with reinforcements now a lot closer to this particular battle. The question is, can MaxPax hold on? Okay, Terran forced to retreat up towards the high ground. High ground advantage is still very significant in StarCraft 2, so you gotta be cautious. More probes, by the way, have gone down. That's 8 additional workers down the drain. Here we go, though. These Colossi, oh my god, they're putting in so much work against these clumped up bio units. What a fight over here. GG is cold, wow. MaxPax fighting with like 2 1 HP Colossus for 3 minutes is what it felt like. Somehow, some way, managed to keep them alive despite the fact that he did not have a Prism. Not until the very end of that fight. Phenomenal control right there from the Danish Protoss, and it's indeed MaxPax who obtains the victory.